Right beside you, chapter 20. After my conversation with Grandma Lucy, I took my trash to the dumpster. I had on my coat and boots, but it was so cold and windy. By the time I got back to the lobby, my hands were so stiff I could barely bend my fingers. Our elevator was so slow it could take a couple of minutes for it to travel from one floor to another. I waited 3 minutes before I decided to take the stairs. I planned to take care of a lot of chores today. Before I could get back inside my apartment, Lorena opened her door. I bought some eggnog this morning, she yelled. You want to come over for some? The Wilsons from down the hall might stop by later. I don't think so. I drank a couple of glasses of cider a little while ago. Then come over for a few minutes so we can chat. I knocked on your door yesterday and the day before, and you didn't answer. Where were you? I didn't hear you. I must have been in the shower or straightening up my back bedroom. Next time I'll call first. Anyway, I was getting worried about you. You're you in there by yourself and all. Lorena gave me a very concerned look and lowered her voice. It's not healthy for you to spend too much time alone, especially this time of year. It could lead to depression. I'm not depressed, I protested, and I don't want you to be. It can make you do things you'll regret. Lorena motioned for me to enter her apartment. I reluctantly followed her to the kitchen and flopped down in a chair at her cluttered table. She poured me a huge glass of eggnog anyway. Like I was saying, depression can make people do things they'll regret. I took a long pull from my glass, like go on a shopping spree to cheer themselves up. Worse, whenever I get in a lackluster mood, I can call up one of my exes and invite them over. I snickered. If he's an ex, something went wrong and he may not want to see you. I only called up the ones that I ended the relationship with. I chuckled and waved my hand. My exes are so far in the past, I doubt if any of them still remember me. Lorena gave me a pitiful look. Felicia, you need to be with that man. Whoever he is that you saw with another woman at Ralph's Market Black Friday evening. The one you're in love with. Otherwise, this thing is going to eat away at you until you lose your perspective. Like I already told you, I can only admire him from afar. I doubt if that's ever going to change. I finished my eggnog and left. I was glad when Monday morning rolled around so I could go back to work. I wasn't ready to get back on the bus and face Richard yet, though, or Pam for that matter, because I knew she was going to drill me like a bad shoe the next time I saw her. I tried not to spend too much time thinking about Richard, but it seemed like the harder I tried, the more I thought about him. I couldn't believe the position I was in. Being in love with him was like being in love with a movie star. Both were unreachable. I missed him if he accepted that position in the home office or if I left the company and relocated. Whatever happened, I was going to learn to live with it. I reluctantly decided to drive to work. It didn't take long for me to regret making that decision. Traffic was so heavy I scolded myself for not calling Uber or taking a later bus. If I had, I could have at least kicked back and taken a nap or gotten some reading done. When I finally made it to my destination, the parking garage in our building had no more spaces available. I ended up parking in a lot 6 blocks away. There was a thick blanket of fresh snow on the ground and patches of ice all over the place. Within minutes after I started walking, I saw 3 people slip and fall. When I almost went down myself, I flagged down a taxi. Pam waltzed into my office a few minutes past 9:30. I'm so glad to see you. I left you 2 voicemails on Saturday and sent a text on Sunday, she wailed, sitting down. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I was busy all weekend. I figured that's what it was. I'm sure you'll be glad when your mama gets home so she can help you keep your grandmother occupied. My grandmother went to Atlantic City with one of her friends. She left on Thursday and got back yesterday. That Miss Lucy, she sure gets around. I hope I'll be as frisky as she is when I reach her age. Pam pursed her lips and gazed at me. Richard has asked me several times since last Thursday if I heard from you. He was worried. Her last sentence drew me for a loop. He was worried about me? Yup, almost as much as I was. But I'm glad everything's all right. She stood up and stretched. There is so much work on my desk. I'd better get back to my office. I might come back later for coffee. 10 minutes after Pam left, Richard walked into my office. How's it going? He asked. I hoped he wouldn't sit down. I was surprised to see him in a turtleneck sweater, the same color as I had, the one I had on today, with a similar design. We both wore black slacks. Was our matching and symbol fate, I wondered? Everything is fine, Richard. Hey, that's a sharp outfit you have on. So is yours, we laughed. How was your weekend? He slapped his forehead with the palm of his hand. Chaotic. My girls ran me ragged, a volleyball game, lunch, and shopping at the mall. You name it. We did it. I barely had time to catch my breath. Yeah, I was quite busy myself. So, he rubbed his hands together and paused. Are you available for lunch today? I really would like to take you. Let me think about it, I said in a stiff tone. Okay, it would mean a lot to me. He sounded so sincere and mysterious, I didn't know what to think. If having lunch with me meant so much to him, I'd have to give it a little more consideration. I think I'm available today, I said coyly. What time would you like to go? Noon. I'll meet you in your office this time, and I promise I won't let Sam hold me up like he did last Wednesday. That was not something I expected to hear. You were with Sam? It was on the tip of my tongue to tell him that Pam had told me she'd seen him having lunch with Regina. I had no idea why he was lying to me. Maybe he wasn't the upstanding, wholesome man I thought he was after all. Just as I was about to leave my office, he came flying in a panic. He was having computer issues and didn't know want to lose some important information. You know how long-winded he is. So by the time I was able to get away from him, you left. Anyway, I had no idea where you were. I was at loose ends until I ran into Regina. She talked me into going for dim sum at Wing Lou's with her and one of her co-workers. Oh, so he hadn't stood me up or lied. I felt so much better. I'm fine with meeting you in the lobby. No need to swing by my office. He smiled and said, okay, I'll see you at noon. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Bye-bye.